Okay, stop what you are doing right now. Because what I am about to tell you is one of the most disturbing things I have ever uncovered about Social Security. For 40 years, since 1983, the United States government was quietly, legally, systematically stealing money from teachers, from police officers, from firefighters, from nurses, from postal workers, from millions of Americans who spent their entire career serving the public. Not in some back room, not through a scam. Through two provisions buried deep inside the Social Security rulebook, provisions that most of the people affected by them had never even heard of. And here is the part that makes this even worse. The Social Security Administration just confirmed it has now paid out $17 billion in back payments to try to fix what it did. $17 billion? That is how big the damage was. Today I am going to break down the whole story. What they did, who it hurt, how much money was taken, how much is being returned, and most importantly, whether you or someone you love is still owed money right now, because there are still hundreds of thousands of people who have not claimed what they are owed. And the clock is running. Let me take you back to 1983. Ronald Reagan is president. The economy is struggling, and Congress is looking for ways to quietly reduce how much Social Security pays out without making it look like a benefit cut. So they create two provisions, two rules buried so deep in the legislation that almost nobody notices them. The first is called the Windfall Elimination Provision, the WEP. The second is called the Government Pension Offset, the GPO. And together, these two rules would go on to quietly slash Social Security benefits for millions of public servants over the next 4 decades. Here is how the WEP worked. If you spent your career as a teacher in a state that had its own pension system, a system that did not pay into Social Security, but you also worked a second job that did pay into Social Security, the WEP punished you for it. It took your Social Security benefit and reduced it, sometimes by hundreds of dollars a month. The logic was that you were receiving a pension from a non-covered job, so the government decided you deserved less from Social Security too. Did you ask for that pension? No. Your employer put you in it. You had no choice. Did you still pay Social Security taxes on every other job you ever worked? Yes. Every single dollar. Did it matter? To the WEP, no. And the GPO was even more brutal. The government pension offset targeted spouses and widows. If your husband was a police officer with a state pension and he passed away, and you tried to collect his Social Security survivor benefits, the GPO reduced your benefit by 2/3 of his pension amount. 2/3. For hundreds of thousands of widows, this eliminated their survivor benefit entirely. They received zero, nothing, because their late husband had a government pension. Think about that for a moment. A woman who spent 30 years raising a family while her husband served as a police officer. He dies. She tries to collect his Social Security, money he paid into his entire working life, and the government tells her, you get nothing. That happened to hundreds of thousands of real people. Now here is where the story takes a turn. For 20 years, literally 2 decades, advocates fought to repeal these two provisions. Bill after bill was introduced in Congress. Year after year, they went nowhere. Until January 5th, 2025. On that day, President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law with bipartisan support. And with one stroke, both the WEP and the GPO were eliminated. Gone. Forever. The Social Security Administration confirmed it. The law restores full Social Security benefits to an estimated 3.1 million Americans. Teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers, federal employees under the civil service retirement system, and surviving spouses who had their benefits wiped out by the GPO. And it did not just fix things going forward. It required the SSA to pay back benefits all the way to January 2024. The average monthly increase for affected workers, $360 per month. Every single month going forward, for life. The average retroactive back payment, $6,700 as a lump sum. For surviving spouses whose GPO had wiped out their benefits entirely, the average monthly restoration was $700. $700 a month that the government had been taking from widows, returned. And the SSA has confirmed it has now processed and paid out $17 billion in back payments to over 3.1 million people. $17 billion? Let that number sink in. Now, here is the part of this story that almost nobody is covering. Not everyone has received their money yet. The SSA confirmed that as of mid-2025, over 200,000 cases could not be processed automatically. They required manual review, and the agency, which is operating at a 60-year staffing low, has been struggling to get through them. If you are a retired teacher, firefighter, police officer, or government worker, and you have not seen an increase in your Social Security check, you may be one of the people still waiting. Here is exactly what to do. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount and log in. Check your benefit amount. If it has not changed and you believe you were affected by WEP or GPO, call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-7721-213. Have your pension information ready. Ask specifically about your WEP and GPO status under the Fairness Act. Do not assume your case was processed automatically. Check. Because hundreds of thousands of people are still waiting, and some of them do not even know they are owed money. And if you are a surviving spouse who had benefits wiped out by the GPO, this is especially important. The SSA says some of these cases require you to file a new application. If you never applied for survivor benefits because the GPO was going to take them away anyway, you may need to apply now. The benefit may now exist for you where it did not before. Now let me give you the real numbers, because I want you to understand just how significant this is in dollars. According to a detailed analysis from a retired Houston police officer's case, his monthly benefit had been cut from $1,180 down to just $620 by the WEP. That is $560 a month being taken from him every single month for years. Under the Fairness Act, his benefit was fully restored to $1,180. He received a lump sum back payment covering everything owed from January 2024. And going forward, he now receives $560 more every single month for the rest of his life. Over a 20-year retirement, that $560 monthly restoration adds up to over $134,000. For surviving spouses, the numbers are even more dramatic. The GPO elimination raised average monthly benefits by $700 for affected widows. Over 20 years, that is $168,000 that was being taken from women who had already lost their husbands. These are not small numbers. This is life-changing money, and millions of people are now receiving it. But there is a warning that comes with all of this, and most people are not hearing it. More money means more taxes. If your Social Security benefit just went up by $360 a month, your annual Social Security income increased by $4,320. That could push you into a higher tax bracket. It could trigger higher Medicare premiums through what is called IRMAA, the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. And if you had a Roth conversion planned or a large IRA withdrawal coming, that timing now matters more than ever. The threshold where Social Security benefits become taxable starts at $25,000 in combined income for single filers. And the IRMAA surcharge for Medicare Part B kicks in when your modified adjusted gross income crosses $109,000 for a single filer or $218,000 for a married couple. A restored benefit plus a pension plus investment income can add up faster than people expect. Get in front of a tax professional before the end of this year, because the restoration is real money, and you want to keep as much of it as possible. I also want to address something directly, because I have seen a lot of confusion online about who this law actually helps. Not every teacher qualifies. Not every police officer qualifies. The SSA is very clear about this. The Social Security Fairness Act only helps people who receive a pension based on work that was not covered by Social Security. That means a job where you did not pay Social Security taxes. About 72% of state and local public employees actually do pay into Social Security, and they are not affected by WEP or GPO and will not see a change. The people who are affected are typically in states where teachers or government workers are in separate pension systems that opted out of Social Security. States like California, Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Massachusetts, Louisiana, Colorado, and several others. If you're not sure whether your old job paid into Social Security, check your Social Security statement at ssa.gov. Look at your earnings record. If there are years where you worked but show zero Social Security earnings, those are likely the non-covered years. That is your indicator. Let me bring everything together. For 40 years, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset quietly reduced or eliminated Social Security benefits for millions of teachers, firefighters, police officers, and their surviving spouses. Not because of anything they did wrong, because of two rules buried in a 1983 law. In January 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act eliminated both rules. 3.1 million people are now receiving higher benefits. The SSA has paid out $17 billion in back payments. The average monthly restoration is $360 for workers and $700 for surviving spouses. But hundreds of thousands of cases are still unresolved, and many people who are owed money have not checked or do not even know they qualify. If you worked in public service, if you have a government pension from a non-covered job, if you are a surviving spouse who was told your benefit was zero because of the GPO, go check right now. Go to ssa.gov, log into your account, or call 1-800-772-1213. This is your money. You earned it. You paid into the system, and for 40 years they held it back. Now is the time to take it back. If this opened your eyes, share this video with every teacher, firefighter, police officer, and government worker you know, because most of them still have no idea this law passed. Most of them have never checked whether their benefit changed. Hit the like button, subscribe so you get every update the moment it drops, and drop a comment below. Were you or someone you know affected by WEP or GPO? I read every single one. I will see you in the next one.